Hello, hello. I think the voice is too high. Hi everyone. I hope everyone is doing really well. Welcome to 11th of December Daily Decodes at Insights IAS. I welcome you all for today again in the early morning, and today again we are on time. Yesterday we had a little bit of hiccup, but today everything, the tech and everything is fine. So let's move to important news for today. But before we proceed, the thought for the day is self-discipline makes all things possible. So many of us, we pick goals, or we decide that we want to do something. For example, we want to clear civil services examination. We want to become a sports person, a cricketer, a gymnast, or we want to, eventually play Olympics, or we have big goals in front of us. But putting a goal is one thing, and second important thing is that day to day you have to put effort to achieve it, and that is where self discipline comes. So I've seen a lot of students when they start preparing for UPSC examination. So initially for the first or 2 months the josh is very high, the energy is very high, they'll put a lot of effort, and after third or fourth month their efforts will weigh down, or the energy will wane out, and they will not put that amount of effort, or they'll probably listen to someone, get motivated, or see some movie, and they will study for 12 or 14 hours, and eventually everything would be dependent on external factors or external validation and external motivation. For students like this any exam becomes very difficult because you are not disciplined. For example, there is a person who has been consistently studying for 6, 8 or 10 hours, or at least say 6 hours a day for the last 1 year, and then there is a person who studies for 12 hours, then for the next 3-4 days he or she does not study. So in this battle of consistency, or the self-discipline, the person who has been consistent and self-disciplined, he or she will always wins the race, because the goal is very clear to them, and everyday effort which needs to be put, they are ready to do it, and that is why consistently they are able to achieve success. If you go to your school and college also, you will see the people who are toppers or who are consistently performing, they used to put an effort on day-to-day basis, because when you put effort on day-to-day basis, the effort is consistent. It might take 2 hours or 3 hours, but suddenly if you don't put an effort for 3-4 days, then you have to complete the pending work. You might be able to complete the pending work once or twice, but eventually the burden will increase and you will start giving up. So it is very important that the self-discipline should be within you, and specifically for examinations like UPSC civil services, which I keep on saying that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It is a 1-year long examination with so many of hiccups, or complex examination I should say. You have got prelims, then you have to write examination, and then the interview of your life. In this entire scenario you have to be disciplined, or rather self-disciplined, and the discipline should not be imposed on you. The discipline should come from within you. So with this lovely thought of self-discipline, today the first news is dedicated to SM Krishna Sir, who was the Chief Minister of Karnataka, who was also the External Affairs Minister, and he is an icon, and we have lost him at the age of 92 years because of illness. And today there is a holiday which has been given by the current Chief Minister Siddaramaiah Sir. And today in the first news we'll talk about what is his legacy, and when you go through his legacy you will understand that how self-discipline is so important. And from the background, he is coming from a rural background to going to America for studies, to becoming, winning his first election in the Legislative Assembly, then becoming Chief Minister, External Affairs Minister, Governor. He has done everything. And when you talk about brand Bangalore, the brand Bangalore comes from SM Krishna Sir. He leaves a legacy, and there is no doubt about it. So the first news would be definitely dedicated to Sir. It would be an honor to talk about Sir today. But before I proceed on the important news for today, the OGP 2026 batch would be starting on 2nd January 2026 for your civil services preparation. You can scan this code for all details. This course would be under the guidance of founder and director Vinay Kumar GB Sir, who is the Insights founder and director. The course will comprise GS plus CSAT plus essay, and for all rest details you can also call on this number. So the first news would be veteran politician and icon of brand Bangalore is no more, that is SM Krishna Sir. India consciously decided to deepen ties with Russia. So a very important statement is coming from the defense minister of the country. Who is that? Rajnath Singh. So please, in the current geopolitical scenario, he's saying India consciously decided to deepen ties with Russia. You remember in July, the Prime Minister was in Russia. He had hugged the Putin at that point of time. He also got the highest honor in Russia. Eventually, he also met Zelensky later on and the other people. But what it says that what is the foreign policy goals and what are the foreign policy goals in terms of Middle East, in terms of Europe, in terms of Eurasia, that also is being told by this statement. Researchers developed AI-based platform to rapidly find age-defying molecules. So from time immemorial, we try that, you know, that if we could control our age or we don't become old. So the artificial intelligence is being used to find those molecules because of which, you know, our age increases or, you know, our age increases or we become old if we can defy them. So editorial deepening India steps as a key space faring nation. So this we'll talk about NGLV, that is next generation launch vehicle. The editorial is based on that, and even in the UPSC prelims impact we'll cover NGLV. Every day we are covering UPSC prelims impact. One or two or many questions might come from this prelims impact in the coming examination. Please do follow. And everybody who is looking for the PDF would be uploaded after 2 to 3 hours. The link would be in description. Kindly download from there. So let's go to the important news for today. That is veteran politician and icon of the brand Bangalore, SM Krishna Sir is no more. So he was born in 1932 and 2024 has led to, in this year Sir is no more. And this news just came, and today is I just told you there's a holiday also in Karnataka. And if we talk about SM Krishna Sir, so he was a veteran politician, he was a great statesman, and the journey and the legacy he leaves, that's an inspiration for everyone. In this, if you say he transformed Karnataka's political and development landscape, known as the architect of brand Bangalore. When you talk about Silicon Valley, the Bangalore becomes Silicon Valley. So it was him and his team which in 1999 Bangalore Task Force came and eventually started focusing on building Bangalore as a Silicon Valley. Today when we call it Silicon Valley, the germination of seeds were done in around late 1990s, and today what we see as a Bangalore as a thriving city of top companies of the world having offices in Bangalore. You see this is the man who was behind it. Eventually, definitely there were a lot of other people also who supported Sir, but he's the man behind it. And foundation for Karnataka as the global hub for technology and innovation, information technology, biotechnology. He did everything. He was also awarded Padma Vibhushan in 2023, and so his career around 2017, he was with the Congress party. Later he also joined the BJP. So while a political career spanning nearly 5 decades, he has been the Karnataka Chief Minister, and at that time he was part of the Congress. He has also been the governor, and he also has been the External Affairs Minister. When he was the External Affairs Minister, the Prime Minister of the country was Manmohan Singh. So his leadership, rural welfare, urban development, modern outlook. So if you ever come to Bangalore and you see how this city is developed, please do pay your, regards to SM Krishna Sir, because that's the least we can do, because so many people from different parts of the country come and work, and this is the man who laid the foundation for this stupendous work which we see in the city. So if we go for his early life and education, so the complete name is Somanahalli Malaya Krishna, was born in farming family in Mandya district. Now from a farming family, he went to America for his higher studies, and obviously this was on a Fulbright scholarship. This also shows that his focus on academics and why education is so important, and that is what the the Vinay sir also talks about, the education inequality that has to be reduced. Once educational inequality is removed and education accessibility increases to everyone, then the talent which this country has, there is no dearth of talent in this country. If you see, people from India only are going to America and they become CEOs of top companies, but India we are not able to make those companies, because the problem is not dearth of talent. Problem is opportunities. Problem is equality of education. So once the equality of education increases, everybody, see, when SM Krishna Sir got this Fulbright scholarship and postgraduate program in law in the US, that made, that is the area which became the platform for his political career. So education is so important, and person coming from rural background and get this kind of education, and then he comes back, defeats a veteran politician in his first election. So that also shows why education is so important, and education for everyone. So he began his political journey by defeating veteran politician H.K. Veranagowda in 1962 Legislative Assembly election, and that too just soon after returning from the America after his education. So during his tenure he had different positions: External Affairs Minister, Governor of Maharashtra, Chief Minister of Karnataka from 1999 to 2004, Speaker of the Karnataka Assembly, Minister in the Karnataka government. So when he was the Chief Minister of Karnataka, at that time it was NDA government at the center with the Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Served as the member of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Legislative Assembly, Legislative Council. Obviously he is winning elections. Held organization role as Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee President. So he strengthened the Congress also in Karnataka. So known for laying the foundation of information technology, biotechnology. Today what you see in Bangalore as a thriving and a rising city, this is the man who was behind it. He is the person behind the brand Bangalore, making the city as international hub for technology, innovation. He is the man behind when Bangalore, we say that this is the Silicon Valley of the country. Focused on development amid political landscape, and whatever be the caste politics or popular measures, he was far away from them. His focus was modern development, rural development, urban development, and that he did. Okay, so these were certain of his key initiatives and reforms. That was Jalasam Vardhane project for rejuvenating tanks and groundwater replenishment, Yashashvi health insurance scheme for cooperative body members, then midday meal schemes, I'm sure you are aware, digitization of land records. Obviously he was talking about for modern technology upgradation. IT and BT, IT stand for information technology, BT stand for biotechnology. Focus was there, so definitely digitization was on his agendas. Housing schemes for the poor. So again, the focus was on rural as well as urban. Brought attention to Karnataka Lokayukt institution, and he appointed a very important person, that is N. Venkatachala, as the Lokayukt, who aggressively tackled corruption in Karnataka. So not only the focus on the urban development, rural development, but also on corruption also. See, so challenges during this time, there was a kidnapping of Rajkumar Sir, who is a idol and celebrated in Karnataka. So from the cinema, it was done by Forest Brigade Virappan. So he was able to handle that. Severe 3-year drought was there. That was the challenge. He was able to handle that. Kaveri water sharing row with Tamil Nadu, he was able to handle that. So even different challenges which came in the tenure, he being the chief minister, he was able to handle these crises. So despite efforts, Congress did lose the 2004 assembly election, but that does not, belittle his performances. So later years, he also became the external affairs minister, and he later left Congress, joined BJP, and in 2023, he was also awarded Padma Vibhushan, which we just saw the photograph. Faced personal tragedy. So I don't know how many of you know that VG Siddhartha, who was the founder of Cafe Coffee Day, was his son, and he lost his son also. Oh, sorry, son-in-law, I beg your pardon, but maintained dignity and resilience. So, and that is how, great people are. And retired from active politics, leaving behind a legacy of development and reform. This was later in 2022, 2023. And finally, we say goodbye to sir, and we need politicians, statesmen, and people like them who join the active politics or who have a thought process like him, so that the country advances, develops, and over a period of time we do become a developed and a superpower nation. These would be the people who are behind it. So we also have a question on UPSC mains. SM Krishna is remembered in the reforms and a key architect of brand Bangalore. Discuss the contribution to Karnataka's development in Indian politics. So you can go through this question. Now let's move to our standard news that is coming from international relations. India consciously decided to deepen ties with Russia. So external, the defense minister of our country, he was in Kaliningrad. We were covering the news of INS Tushil. So eventually he has been able to meet Vladimir Putin, and the important news which has come, or the important statement, that we deliberately wanted to have, or purposefully wanted to have good and strengthened relationship with Russia. Now, in the context of Russia-Ukraine war, in the context of what is happening in Syria, in the context of Donald Trump coming to power, this is a very important statement which has come, and this also tells that India and Russia friendship is strengthened and there is a good amount of bond harmony in this relationship. So India has made conscious decision, deepened its ties with Russia despite significant geopolitical pressure. There was a lot of geopolitical pressure from G7 countries, from Democrats, from Europeans, that we need to sever our relationship with Russia or we need to push Russia, but none of that was done. Rather, we today, India is one of the only countries with the pivot that we can talk to Zelensky, we can talk to Putin, we can talk to Syria, we can talk to Israel, we can talk to Palestine, we can talk to Trump, we can talk to Kamala Harris, we can talk to anyone, because we follow the de-hyphenation policy in our foreign relationship or geopolitical affairs. So we are very clear about our goal. In this context, it is very important to realize that today India is choosing its goal and or choosing its policies or choosing its foreign policies. In this context, Defense Minister giving that statement that we wanted or it was a conscious decision, it also talks about the foreign policy or the foreign policy initiatives or the foreign policy agendas or the foreign policy aims of our country. Okay, so India remains committed to its close engagement and cooperation with Russia. So Defense Minister co-chaired, this was the meeting around 21st India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation, in short IRIGC and MMTC. So a long, I rather would say a big acronym, but this is the meaning of it, Russian counterpart. So majorly the discussion is on military and military technology and how, this forum is also very important, how Indian DPSPUs or Indian companies or India's domestic manufacturing that can be utilized for more collaboration between India and Russia, and also from the point of view of make in India products. Okay. So the operationalization of 2021-31 India-Russia military technical cooperation agreement was highlighted as a key to support Make in India drive. That is exactly I am trying to say. That is why this forum is very important. A protocol was signed summarizing ongoing and prospective areas of cooperation in military and military technologies. Defense Minister met Russian President Vladimir Putin at Kremlin. Discussion included bilateral defense trade and broader cooperation. Obviously, there would have been a talk on Ukraine and other issues also. I'm very sure about it, but that will not come. Also, remember that Russian Prime Minister would be visiting early coming year. That should be somewhere around January 2025. We had already covered that news in Daily Decodes, and it should be around the time when Donald Trump will take his presidency. So Donald Trump would be taking the presidency. Currently, he is the elected president. So January 20th, 2025, he would be taking the chair of the president, and Mr. Putin is expected to come to India. And also remember, in July 2024, the Prime Minister of India, he had visited Russia, and during the Kazan summit, India also invited Vladimir Putin to come to India. If Vladimir Putin, if he is coming to India January 2025, this would be his first post-Russia-Ukraine visit to India. So two leaders also interacted on the sideline of 16th BRICS summit, which happened in Kazan in October 21st, 22nd, 20th or 21st, 22nd October, and it was a very successful summit. Regional and global context, the visit coincided with overthrow of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and it has also been told that Assad and his family has been given asylum by Russia, and Russia has also given this statement formally, informally, that Russia never ditches their friends. Or so in this context, Bashar al-Assad has gone to Russia. So Defense Minister referred the meeting productive, further strengthening the India-Russia special privilege strategic partnership. Emphasis was placed on exploring new opportunities to boost Russia industrial partnership. The focus was majorly Make in India, how we can increase the trade. See, the Russia-India trade is currently around $66 billion, and majority of the trade which is happening because of oil and gas. If tomorrow the Russia-Ukraine war stops, and the Russia which is giving oil and gas to India at a discounted price, it might not give, it might start selling back to Europe or some other countries. So obviously I'm speculating in this, but most of the geopolitical experts and the experts in India, this is the major contention. Okay, So for that matter, if they start selling back to, or they don't give discounts to India, the trade in this $66 billion, majority of the trade is because of oil and gas, that will reduce. So in this context, it is very important for India to find out other resources or other things or other industries in which India and Russia can collaborate, so that the trade target of around $100 billion, which we have kept for 2030, that the India-Russia trade of target of $100 billion, we are able to achieve it. We need to find more industries from primary to other sectors so that we can achieve it. Okay. So I hope that you've understood. Understood, guys? Okay. Are you following? Okay, okay. So Defense Minister reiterated, so we keep on asking, the offline students are not sleeping. Okay. So Defense Minister reiterated India's determination to extend domestic defense industry capabilities, enhance industrial collaboration, and if we want to achieve the target of $100 billion, not only from defense but even other sectors, we need to collaborate. So before I proceed further, geography classes are starting from 12th December 2024, and you can scan the QR code for all details. This is the fee, and for all details you can also contact on this number, and this course would be done by Sudeep sir, and this is part of Apex Prelims crash course. So for the coming prelims, and if you are looking for geography for your prelims preparation, you can join this course. And there is a mentorship program which would be happening from 9th December to 20th December in Hyderabad under the guidance of Nikhil Gowda sir, where the focus would be on PSR optional, Indian polity, international relations, and it would be open for all. So you can also call on the number which was provided earlier. I think it's, this is the number you can call for all details also. Now let's go to the next important news, that is researchers develop AI-based platform to rapidly find age-defying molecules. Good morning Parikshit, good morning Vimal, good morning Sumant, Bhuvan. Russia delays providing defense tech on time. Chakra submarine still not deliver, it delayed 20. Yes, that's a problem. So it's a, before I start this news, so this is a genuine problem which is happening with Russia. It is happening with America also. See, America also needed to give the GE engines for Tejas. They have not come, but I feel when Donald Trump takes the charge, the GE engines for Tejas will come. Second, the problem, even S-400, Bhuvan which is talking, even the S-400 has not been delivered because Russia is very much busy with the Ukraine war. So most of the defense production is focused on Ukraine and the requirements in fighting against Ukraine. That is why there are delays there. When the Russian President Vladimir Putin would be coming to India, there would definitely be a discussion to expedite it. And I think within the next 3 to 6 months, the Russia-Ukraine war should be over. And this, whatever they are pending of this defense parts or equipments are there or armaments would be there, it should soon come. Let's see, let's be very hopeful about it. Okay, so let's go to the important news for today. The next, that is researchers develop AI-based platform for rapidly age-defying molecules. So, longevity, we all, want that we should look, we should live longer in life, and if we can defy the age-defying molecules. Okay, so longevity has been a long pursued goal in the medicine driven by researchers, kings, and pharmaceutical companies. So if you see, the magical movies or the magic-based movies, or not exactly Harry Potter I'm talking about. Okay, so even in Harry Potter, I think it's in the Philosopher's Stone. So there is a liquid, if you drink it, you can live longer. So a lot of movies have been made where the man just wants to live, for say 100, 200, 100 years. Obviously, there are still people who live. So 200 years, 300 years, and how we can defy the age molecules because of which we can old. So this has been from time immemorial. So kings and queens, they wanted to find some chemical formula through which we can overcome, that we are getting old or our age increases. So finally, we have not been able to find the correct formula, but at least AI has come inside and doing something in healthcare. So a new breakthrough comes from Indraprastha Institute of Information Technology. So this is triple IIT. It is not IIT. This is triple IIT Delhi. So a question can come in prelims where they will write IIT Delhi. So it's not IIT Delhi, it's triple IIT Delhi, where researchers have developed AI based platform Age X Trend. So this is a AI tool. Okay, Age X Trend. And what does it do? It identifies molecules with age defying properties. So it is able to find molecules which which defy age. So they are age defying molecules. So AgeX tend to reduce the time required for discovering molecules with geroprotectors or anti-aging properties. So if the manually we would have done, it would have taken ages. Just see the amount of data they had did. So researchers screened 1.1 billion compounds over 2 years using this platform. So can humans, we can search manually through this data? It's not humanly possible. So, and obviously artificial intelligence with GPUs and their strength of going through crores of data, I would say that gives us strength to even peep into the future or do something which we are not able to see. So they were screening 1.1 billion compounds over 2 years using this platform. The platform identified a small fraction, that is even less than 1% of compounds with potential anti-aging effects. So anti-aging effects, so less than 1% they have been able to identify. So they are anti-aging. So if you are able to identify, use them for your advantage, so your aging process can reduce, or probably in future you can even cull them or curtail them. So validated through experiments on yeast, worms, human cell models. This news also tells that the artificial intelligence, the way rapidly it is growing, it is not only affecting healthcare, it is affecting everything. So artificial intelligence needs to be supplemented. Lot of people fear about ARI, that it is a disruptive technology. It is a disruptive technology if you are not able to align yourself, if you are not right, if you are not willing to change. If you are willing to change, AI will be disrupting if you're not willing to change. If you supplement this technology in your work, definitely the collaboration with AI, it will only increase your efficiency and productivity of your work. So that is what we can understand, at least from outside. So AgeX tend use AI to predict and assess compounds like anti-aging properties, safety profiles, and biological effects. Mechanism explanation: unlike other platform, AgeX provides reason for identifying certain compound as anti-aging, detailing the mechanism involved. So unlike others which are not able to tell you what is the reason why it is anti-aging, it will tell you this is the reason and how does this, what is the mechanism on which it works. So application in known molecules, AgeX successfully identified the well-known molecules like metformin and taurine without prior knowledge of their properties. See, so this also tells that even when the data was not given, it was able to find these molecules and what they do. So researchers are saying GPS for chemical space, discovery engine unlocking new possibilities for promoting health and longevity. So again, a very important discovery, I would say, or obviously the invention can towards be the AI part, and this is we have been able to find out. I think within the coming 5 to 10 years there would be a lot of news related from the healthcare, not only related to aging but many other things which will come from AI related to healthcare. Good morning Shweta, good morning everyone. Okay, so scale and scope of they studied 1.2 billion molecules. The screen candidates included commercial drugs, Chinese and Ayurvedic drugs, and even FDA approved molecules. Open source, and now that's the part. Whenever the research is done by these institutions, they put this data for open so that more research and companies can use it, and at that too at a very minimal fees. Code and data for the research are available for open source for research and students to study so that they can take this research even forward. Company can access the researchers for fee, ensuring wider accessibility to technology. So companies might have to pay a certain amount of fee, but for researcher and student, it is open source. So this is your question related to mains, use of AI in healthcare research, transforming how we identify solution for critical issues like aging. Discuss the significance of platforms like AgeX Trend to promoting healthcare and longevity. Now we come to the editorial. So deepening India's space as a key space faring nation. This is written by Ashwin Prasad. He is a research analyst at Takshila institution. So first of all, let's understand what is NGLV, that is your next generation launch vehicle. So currently we are having two problems, for when we want to launch our satellites. First major problem is that we are not able to carry bigger weight or higher weight or more weight. That is the first problem, and because of that, since we are not able to carry it, we need to miniaturize the things, okay, or make them lightweight. So this is one of the major problem which is coming, that is payload capacity. So the focus should be to increase the payload capacity. And second is, they should be reusable, that you can use again and again. For example, SpaceX Falcon, when we talk about, that is Elon Musk company, so it can carry more weight also and it is reusable also. So these are the two agendas which we are working upon. Currently, our payload capacity is very less compared to SpaceX Falcon, and that is why we are not able to send very heavy satellites, or we need to use 2-3 instruments to send it, or we need to go to America or some other companies to send who has the capability of this higher payload capacity. So NGLV would be solving this problem. So in September 2024, the news came that Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister has approved the development of next generation launch vehicle. Now obviously the first focus would be on increasing the payload capacity. So unlike the expandable rockets, NGLV will be partially reusable, reducing cost significantly. See, if it is not reusable, you will again and again you will have to make a NGLV or any vehicle which you are using. So this vehicle is very important, which you use to put your satellites outside. And the kind of programs which we are talking about, Gaganyaan, then with crew missions, non-crew missions, in this, these kind of vehicles would be very important, and that is why Indian government is putting a lot of money and ISRO would be working on NGLV. So reusability will make Indian rockets more competitive globally also. Otherwise, every time you will have to make a rocket, this kind of capability Americans and many other organizations already have, and that is why reusability and higher payload capacity is the focus of ISRO in these kind of vehicles. So despite the slight reduction in payload capacity it causes, it will be 3 times the present payload capacity of LVM-3. So whatever has been the capacity of LVM-3, it would be 3 times more than that, with 1.5 times the cost. Obviously the cost will increase, it would be 1.5 times the cost of LVM-3, but compared to what amount of money the Europeans and Americans spend to build these vehicles, it would be very less. Will also have reusability, resulting in low cost access. So when you have reusability, you can use it again and again, and obviously there might be requirement of some changing of some parts or repairing of some parts, because of wear and tear generally happens in a system. So but overall your NGLV would be a great system with high payload capacity, and secondly the most important thing, reusability would be there. So development of NGLV is taken up to, which is designed to have a maximum payload capacity of 30 tons to low Earth orbit, which has also reusable first stage. So that is why it is called partial reusable. Partial reusable because the first stage of NGLV, that can be done over a period of time. I am very sure the ISRO would be working and the scientists would be working, making it completely reusable. So finally, coming to the editorial, I have given the important facts related to NGLV. So India has outlined visionary objective for its space program. We would be having Gaganyaan. We are also talking about that India wants to create its own space stations like the Chinese have created, and the International Space Station over a period, I think it's by the end of the decade it should be over. So most of the countries are talking about their own space stations. So focus is on developing reusable rockets like ISRO's next generation launch vehicle, partially reusable I should say, because only the first stage is reusable once it's made, and in the coming years the other stages would also be done. Collaboration with private sector is critical for ensuring strategic autonomy in space exploration. No, again, strategic autonomy in space. You should not be dependent on other countries again for products or satellites. Okay, today India and America are having good relation. Elon Musk, since he's a businessman, or America having good relation with India, India is able to use Falcon to send it. But tomorrow say that the Americans are not in favor of India or any other country, and we want to launch a heavy satellite, but again they say no to us. So in this context, when you talk, I've told you 100 times earlier also that when you're buying weapons from a country, for example, you're buying Rafale from France, you're buying Chinook or Apache from Americans or from Lockheed Martin or Boeing. Whenever you are doing this, these countries or we as a country, we will never become a superpower. A superpower is a country who is not dependent on weapons on some other countries. Apart from economy and social issues, that should be sorted definitely. But a country which is dependent for weapons on other countries, it's very difficult for them to become superpower. Why? Because tomorrow if you are going for a war or you're fighting someone and these countries say that we cannot give you weapons for XYZ reasons, or they do not give you armaments, then you as a superpower, how are you a superpower? You are not have the capability to make your own weapons, you're dependent on others. You can criticize China for making, second or third grade fighter planes or engines. But the good part about Chinese are that they are at least investing from wherever, investing money on research and development. They might be stealing technology from the Americans, and rather they have stolen the technology of fighter planes, which eventually went to Chengdu. But the focus is that they are developing on their own. So once you start developing on their own, eventually after 10 years, 20 years and 30 years, your product will become good. So that should be focus of India also. We are also working on self-reliance and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and eventually our products will become better. But focus should be, yes, today we are importing weapons because we don't have the technology. We were talking about INS Tushil, yesterday the frigate was coming, and the same news and same concept also applies to space. ISRO has done a tremendous work. Now the focus on NGLV is a very good news. If you remember in 1998, 1999, when we tested the Pokhram, we got a lot of sanctions. Cryogenic engine technology we did not know. Cryogenic engine technology we did not have. Russians wanted to give that technology to India, but for that matter, Americans forced Russians to not give that technology to India. Now this is again, I am saying that you need to build your own technology, and that is why strategic autonomy in space is very important, because space would be the next frontier. AI would be the next frontier, and when you say space would be the next frontier, it also from the point of view of space militarization, or from the point of view how space is growing, becomes very paramount and important. So ISRO has transitioned from the modest program in 1960s to a powerful space-faring nation. The Gaganyaan mission will demonstrate India's human space flight. The pilots are, or rather astronauts are already getting trained in Russia. By sending Indian crew to space, ISRO aims to establish an Indian space station and expand human space flight missions to the moon. Okay, so uncrewed mission to the moon to develop technology required for human-centric space. So this is the key components that will include creation of heavy lift rockets. Again, you need heavy lift rockets, because if you don't make, then you need to do miniaturization. What is miniaturization? For example, if there is something which is of say 100 kgs, but you cannot take 100 kgs, then you need to reduce everything in size. But what that 100 kg thing will do, that has to be done by the 10 or 20 kg thing. Now this is very easier said, but it will take a lot of effort to eventually do it. So this miniaturization is very difficult. For example, when you talk about MIRV technologies in missiles, that also requires that your miniaturization of that multiple bombs. So easily said than done. But at the same time, if the capability of your rocket, or if the capability of this engine increasing in terms of payload capacity, you might not need to invest in miniaturization. So that amount of time and effort can go in some other technology. Okay. So heavy lift capabilities of NGLV will include easy payload, weight and volume restrictions which are there, which we have discussed. Eliminate the need for excessive miniaturization. So this excessive miniaturization, making things small, but it is able to deliver the same function which was done by the bigger part. Now it requires a lot of time, lot of effort. So we can, we can get away from this and focus on other technology if we are able to build higher payload capacity. Enable more complex space missions also. So ISRO is currently constrained by limited heavy lift capabilities already discussed. Upcoming moon mission requires 2 LVM-3 rockets to assemble module in space due to, now instead of 2 LVM-3, once you will have one NGLV, you can just use that. But today you have to use 2. The GSAT-N2 satellite was launched using SpaceX Falcon 9. And even before I proceed, when you are using two vehicles, there are chances that one part of among the two might dysfunction. So the chances of failing of mission also increases. But once you have one single window clearance system or one single, reusable rocket, that would be much better. So GSAT-N2 satellite was launched using SpaceX Falcon 9 because we did not have high payload capacity, and that is why we used the Elon Musk SpaceX Falcon. Falcon and Starship rockets send benchmark in reusability and heavy lift capabilities, and you will also need to give it to Elon Musk and his vision. If you go back in the history of SpaceX, it's not a very old company, but it's the vision of Elon Musk, his capability and his thought process. From creating electric vehicles to Neuralink to Starlink to different links whichever he is creating. And at this time, I would also say that over a period of time, he might even become a great politician, and who knows, he becomes the president of America in coming years. He's already very close to Donald Trump. So he's a very successful entrepreneur in terms of creating SpaceX and multiple electric vehicles, Tesla. So this is the kind of attitude and thought process we will also require, so that our industry in terms of startups which can contribute with ISRO, also there is more cohesiveness which happens between ISRO, startups, and how ISRO is working. The thought process also needs to be futuristic as it was with the SpaceX, and since they have set the benchmarks, we can at least follow some part and achieve them. So we can leverage private sector collaboration. This is the point I'm trying to bring, that the startup should be inculcated, more incubation should happen, more focus should be going towards from the government side. I think we had covered important news in Daily Decodes that a lot of startups in space, they would be given a certain amount of seed funding. I think we had covered around 20-30 days back. So that is also a good initiative. So developing multiple NGLV like rockets could improve launch frequency, create much needed redundancy in launch systems. So strategic importance, if we are planning to have missions like Moon, Mars and beyond, you would need reusable rockets or the reusable launch vehicles, plus the one which having a high payload capacity. Otherwise, it would be very tough to cross. So building a strong industrial base for space technology in terms of India, ISRO also has its commercial arm, plus startups and overall infrastructure for space technology and space industry and military space complexes would be very important. The way we are focusing on military complexes in India, similar should be the focus on space also. So we have a PYQ. Gaganyaan mission aims to establish permanent. No. NGLV is designed to be reusable and will triple the payload capacity of ISRO to LVM3. Correct. India has collaborated with SpaceX for development. No, not NGLV. Okay. So second statement is the only correct answer. This is a UPSC mains question. India's space missions are heavily reliant on advancement in heavy lift and reusable rocket technology. Critically evaluate the role of ISRO and the private sector in achieving. Very important question from science and technology point of view, LVM3 point of view, NGLV point of view, LGMV point of view, then also your payload capacity is the issue, then reusability is the issue. These are the two important parameters which you need to talk about. So in Titbits today you have, so the Schengen visa we had covered yesterday. So Madhav Gadgil, who came on a very important report in 2011 on Western Ghats. So he has been given the Champions of Earth Award. This is the UN's highest environmental honor. It has been given to him. And in this context, his report is still very important. What he wrote on Western Ghats report came in 2011. It spoke about creating ecological sensitive areas, and under those 3 ecological sensitive zones in the Western Ghats. Okay, so we have done the tidbits. In the extra mile, you have the code of conduct judges need to follow. You can go through this article. It's in the Hindu, and you can also follow I Can by Sapna Ma'am. It comes on the channel at 9:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And thank you very much. I hope you did like the news for today. We'll catch up tomorrow. I'll just check if there are any important comments for us. Okay, so some comments are there. Let me just answer these questions. So Russia delays, that's Bhuvan is writing, ISRO is doing very well in space exploration, but the government must increase its budget to at least $5 billion to achieve this. Absolutely, yes, Bhuvan. The budget needs to be increased. Today, movies have bigger budget than our space mission. Yes, yes, yes. Mangalyaan is one of those. Also, least focus on private defense companies and helping them innovate and produce high quality prototypes. Actually, so Bhuvan is absolutely right. Prakshit, you are also. So, guys, do like the session, share the session, comment. Definitely comment once the session is over. That really helps. Please press the bell icon so that you get the notification, and do share it. So, thank you very much, guys. We'll meet up tomorrow at the same time. Take care and Jai Hind.